Hello and welcome back to this week's Something New, where we talk about new things that we've introduced to each other. As usual, this is Paul.
Hello, I'm Paul.
Hello, I'm James. So this week I've been introducing Paul to Game of Thrones. Paul has never, believe it or not, watched Game of Thrones. First things first then, Paul, what did you make of it?
Well, you can't really, first and foremost, you can't really escape it, can you? I'd never seen it, but I knew a little bit about it. It's probably the biggest television show in the world.
So just to, just for clarity then, what did you know about Game of Thrones?
So going in, a lot of death, and I knew a lot of people apparently die in it. Dragons. Yeah. Heard a lot about the dragons, breathing fire and all that. And incest as well.
Incest, lots and lots of sex.
Apparently, a big thing. Even in the first episode, there was a lot of characters, so I found it a bit hard to make out. But it looked like there was a bit of incest going on at the end of the first episode. I think the Queen was caught doing the dirty with her brother.
Yeah.
So what did I think of it? It was good. Yeah. I said there was a lot of characters. I think like the first scene, they're in like that the place that's dead snowy and cold, a bit like the Arctic. And there's the wall.
So the north is essentially Manchester, Liverpool. The south is essentially Warwickshire all the way down to London and the home counties.
Exactly, and that opening scene, that was a bit fantastical. There was the big old ice monsters, it looked like, which I've heard a bit about them as well, as you might expect. Yeah. We're coming up on, is it the last season this year?
Yeah, the last season.
So there's things I know even though I haven't watched it. I know these ice monsters are going to be a big deal. So, a bit sketchy at first, but after that it was a bit more about, as you say, it was a bit more political, wasn't it? A bit more about the characters. A lot of people, vying for power, things like that. You've got the king who doesn't seem much like a king at all. I think, but I can't remember his actual name. So I assume he's going to have a big part to play. We haven't talked about the blonde-haired girl who's sort of like in a different country.
Okay.
I know people like her. She's the one who's going to get the dragons, isn't she?
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I assume she's going to be a big character because people are still talking about her. So I think her, the imp.
Yep.
And Jon Snow, I assume they'll be big characters.
Yeah.
I don't really know about anyone else at this stage, but I know it's a show with a lot of characters apparently.
Yeah. Well,
so,
you're not that far. You're not that far off, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, brilliant. Well, it looks like Paul's learnt a lot about Game of Thrones, and it seems like you know a lot about the show, having not watched that much of it.
Like I say, it's a huge show, isn't it? So. How about, shall we go on to what I introduced you to on this occasion? All right. So, we'll usually do a bit of a variation. So, it might be a movie, might be a television show. Sometimes it'll be music. So, in this instance, I introduced you to one of my favourite albums, something you'd never heard in full, at least.
No, I'd certainly heard the popular ones, like Go Your Own Way and stuff like that. You can't not hear them songs when you're out and about in town. You listen to them songs.
Exactly. So we're talking, of course, about a classic Fleetwood Mac album. I'm holding it up, of course, for those who can or cannot see.
Yep.
1970s classic, Rumours, by one of my favourite bands, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
So you say you'd heard Go Your Own Way.
I did Go Your Own Way. One of my favourites actually was The Chain, which I immediately recognised as the opening to Formula One when I was growing up.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I assumed that you, even if you hadn't heard it anyway, I mean, I think it gets used in movies and stuff, doesn't it?
It's very visceral, that sound.
Yeah, exactly. I love. It's probably my favourite song on the album. I think it's a great song in its own right, but then right near the end you get that bass.
Yeah,
that bass line, excellent stuff. So you enjoyed that?
Enjoyed a lot of songs. There were a few songs that I was kind of, I mean, for a great album, I thought there were a few songs that weren't amazing. A Oh Daddy being one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't get it.
No.
Didn't get that song.
Has a bit of a different meaning these days compared to what it had in the 70s.
Yeah.
I'd say.
and Gold Dust Woman. I weren't a massive fan of them, but for the majority, it was a really good album. Good, consistent sound,
Mm-hmm.
and it
well,
was really
yeah.
good.
I mean, it's an album. I mean, again, I'm speaking as someone. It is one of my favourite albums. It's got a good 10, 11 songs on there, and I'd say a good 5 or 6 of them are real classics.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly glad that you enjoyed it. Any particular song that you hadn't heard before that you'll go away and you think you'll be listening to that in the future? You know, it's one of those songs you'll listen to for the rest of your life.
It was one of those albums. Although I hadn't really listened to it before, it was one of those albums that, after the first or second time listening to the songs, it triggered a memory of hearing that song before.
Yeah.
So although I wasn't overly familiar with the album, I kind of knew the songs. But yeah, I thought it was really good. One of the things in particular that I was thinking was how there are different tracks for different voices. So, for example, I didn't know there were that many members of the band, which I found surprising. I had a bit of... I looked them up because I was really enjoying the track.
Did you find anything of interest about the background of this album in particular? Because it's got a bit of an interesting story.
Yeah, well, I know roughly that there was a lot of sex going on in the band, a bit of cheating, a bit of monogamy. What was going on? So,
pretty much all of them, to some extent, hated each other at this time, or so the stories go. Yeah. Stevie Nicks, Lindsey Buckingham, pretty much all of them, were arguing with each other at some point, which I believe is sort of where the name of the album comes from. Okay. Rumours. It's referring to all the rumours that were going on about the band at the time, about the bad feelings between them.
Okay.
Really interesting. What's interesting is, for something, and again I'm just speaking on my own opinion here, for something so excellent to come out of a lot of bad feeling, really. When you think about it, it's interesting.
It kind of makes sense at the same time when you think of Lennon and McCartney. Of constantly vying for the spot as the better songwriter. So maybe there's a bit of that.
Bit of competition, do you think?
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, and it's one of those where you'll find that on this album, obviously they're a band, so it's all collaborative. But you'll find that on a lot of different songs, all great in their own way, were led by a different member of the band.
Oh,
so there's a lot of creative differences, but just a lot of creativity. My question is, we don't really buy actual CDs or records anymore.
Yeah.
Would you go out and buy this?
I would probably not go out and buy it in a hard disk version, but I'd definitely listen to it on Spotify or YouTube.
So go on your iPod.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I think that's we've covered everything really. We've covered yours and mine. So for next week, I'm going to get you to watch Saving Private Ryan, a film that I cannot believe you haven't seen.
Well, I'm not a huge Tom Hanks fan. Yeah. I've seen a few of his movies. It's usually a bit saccharine for me, but he's a good actor, and I like war films, so I'll certainly give that a go. I am going to ask you to read the book.
Okay.
If you can manage that.
Okay, I'll give it a go. So what's the book?
I'm going to ask you to read my favourite book, which is Trainspotting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is that Irvin Welsh?
It is, yeah. Good luck with the dialect, because he writes it in full-on Scottish, but I think you'll enjoy it. So we'll come back next week and talk about those, yeah?
Brilliant, yeah, sounds good. Okay, so join us next week for something new, where we will be covering Saving Private Ryan and Trainspotting, if I can read it in time. Okay.
Excellent, see you then.
Thanks very much for listening.
Thank you.
Wicked or weakness, you gotta see this. Yeah. Hey, I remember syrup sandwiches and crime allowances. Finesse a nigga with some counterfeits, but now I'm counting this. Parmesan with my accountant lips, in fact I'm down in this. You say with my boo babe, tastes like Kool-Aid for the analyst. Girl, I can buy your Westie world with my base stuff. Ooh, that pussy good, once you sit it on my taste buds. I get way too petty once you let me do the extras. Pull up on your block, then break it down, we playing Tetris. AM to the PM, PM to the AM phone. Piss out your per diem, you My left stroke just went viral. Right stroke put a baby in a spiral. Soprano C, we like to keep it on the high note. It's levels to it, you and I know. Bitch, be humble. Hold up, bitch. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Who that nigga thinking that he frontin' on me, man? Get the fuck off my stage, I'm the same man. Get the fuck off my dick, that ain't right. I make a play, fucking up your whole life. I'm so fucking sick and tired of the Photoshop. Show me something natural like Afro on Richard Pryor. Show me something natural like ass with some stretch marks. Still take you down right on your mama couch in polo sock. Ayy, this shit way too crazy. Ayy, you do not amaze me. Ayy, I blew cool from ACA. Obama just page me. Ayy, I don't fabricate it. Ayy, most of y'all be faking. Ayy, I stay modest about it. Ayy, she elaborated. Ayy, this that Grey Poupon, that AV on that TED Talk. Ayy, watch my soul speak, you let the meds talk. Ayy, if I kill a nigga, it won't be the alcohol. Ayy, I'm the realest nigga after all. Bitch, be humble. Bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. Bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down.
Illumination presents Despicable Me 3, the brand new 3D puzzle erasers. With 8 great characters, you can create your very own amazing minion with detachable parts. Includes 2 special characters. Available at Smith's Toy Store.
So I'm Michael Holmes. I've been in society for 4.5 years now. Last year I was chairman. 2 years ago I was the social secretary. I first started playing watching my dad, thought it was interesting. Once I came to university, seen the Poker Society, first thing I wanted to do was sign up. So first week at uni, I've been here since.
I've been playing poker since I was around 14 years old. I used to play poker games with my family when I was 14, 15.
Society's been running coming close to 20 years now. For me to be a part of it was great just to take society forward. We've had a lot of great success at tournament events, UK events. You've got all levels of players at society, from newbies to even this week we've got players playing for the first time they've ever played to people who've been playing for 4 or 5 years.
It's a broad spectrum, you know, even if you're good at the game, if you're bad at the game, it doesn't matter. If you're bad at the game, whatever, it's fine, come and play for fun, that's more than okay.
When people join, they don't actually need to know how to play poker, because I certainly didn't. You meet a load of great people, have a laugh, there's loads of great socials that you go on as well.
Poker Society made me come out my shell in getting to know all the players, getting to know all my friends that I call them at this point. Just the social aspect is one of the best parts of being at uni.
As soon as I joined the society, I just felt involved with, like, I didn't know most of the people, but they made me feel very welcome straight away, and that's why I wanted to help them out by being on the committee this year. The
weekly events are every Tuesday and every Thursday. Tuesday in the atrium from 6:30 until close. That's where we play the league. Across 26 weeks of the year, the best of the best qualify for the Champions Cup. And on Thursdays we play in the Adelphi pub upstairs. We get free beer vouchers, I think there's £30 worth. You've absolutely nothing to play, and if you win you might win a few free beers. Message anyone that's on the committee if you know them, message the Facebook page. Even if you've just see it on the SU website, just come along, it's got all the details of where we play. Which just come along, ask someone about the society and we'll get you involved straight away.